What's up, Escrow?
What up, Par?
All right.
Welcome to Par and Escrow. What is this, our 10th episode?
Something like that. I think 8, 9, 10.
I can't count.
I know. Everybody keeps...
Freeze are still on.
Yeah. They say, though, we need to get to 1 million episodes.
Right.
That's so we're working really hard for that. Today, we're going to be talking about Escrow's favorite sandwiches.
Yeah, and this is going to be a long episode.
It's a long episode. He's got a top 10 favorite sandwiches. But no, seriously, I was making my kids sandwiches for school. They complained about peanut butter and jelly. That was those are my top 3. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah. I was broke as a kid, so most common were peanut butter and jelly, bologna, or cheese sandwich.
You didn't do bologna and cheese?
We could sometimes, but not always.
It's like, all right, we don't have enough money for the bologna this week.
It depends what we ran out of, really.
Cheese is probably more expensive than bologna, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking back in the 90s, so.
We had this one sandwich my mom made.
Fluffernutters, though.
I was going to say, it was kind of, but it's on the line of that. My mom used to make peanut butter and cream cheese sandwiches.
Oh, dude, my mom would make that shit. My mom made cream cheese and pickle, which I've kind of, learned to love.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And then at the Love Shack, we always put on chips.
On the sandwich?
Almost every single sandwich.
On the plate or in the sandwich?
On the sandwich.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I used to do that with my mac and cheese in college. I used to crunch Pringles in it.
Yeah, you need a little crunch.
So, I mean, speaking of kind of hard times and stuff, I feel like, a lot of the news going around the industry right now is talking about foreclosures are increasing, the market's going to crash. And, I see on a lot of these real estate pages the market's dying and our pipelines are low, and I kind of maybe have a different viewpoint of that. And
yeah, I mean, I've seen all the headlines. I've seen 6 out of 8 expert companies project home prices to decrease nationwide.
Correct. And we're a little different than nationwide.
It's just clickbait. It's clickbait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to play off of that today. We're going to do our own clickbait.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, because in this episode, we're going to be talking about the market crashing. And if you're not prepared, you may not be selling real estate next year.
Yeah.
Pretty serious, right?
You may not own real estate next year either if you're an actual seller.
Yeah, or you might have to eat cream cheese and peanut butter sandwiches. Or bologna and no cheese.
Hopefully, yeah. We did have mustard, though. So, we always had the mustard or the mayonnaise. So, we're fine.
Mayonnaise is expensive. That's why you went mustard.
We're playing, I think back then we were actually Miracle Whip, and I've had a long talking to my mom about that.
That's not mayonnaise.
Why were we ever Miracle Whip people?
That's not mayonnaise, though, right?
No. It's disgusting. But we're playing Aronimink. Aronimink?
Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not going to try.
Honestly, I asked Google twice, and it said 2 different ways. So, Aronimink. It's where the PGA Championship is.
I don't care what you say. All you said was 600-yard par 5, and I'm I'm out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's just like the housing market.
Yeah, everything's tough. Nothing's going to be easy these days.
Brutal, but tune in. Check it out.
All right, let's play this hole.
Full disclosure, I didn't pick this hole. This guy did.
Roll. Stay in the fairway. Good ball. Before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about people coming out and challenging us. You know,
that would be great. I would say come Thursdays.
Thursdays?
We're almost always grilling out.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good grill sessions so far.
Oh, yeah. All we got to do is put it in Ronnie's head.
There's something that we want to grill that day.
He will find his meat.
That will help his what?
His libido.
It was like his A1Cs.
Yes, his A1Cs, sorry.
So anytime we put something in his head, he gets the grill outs. But we did brats last week. We did tacos that was for Cinco de Mayo.
And burgers.
Burgers been great.
Dogs, obviously. You got to have your glizzies if you're going to have the simulator.
Yeah, so I mean, the cool thing is if you come out here, one, you got to challenge us. I think a lot of people
I think they think they can beat us.
They see our play. I mean, they see how good we are, and they're like, you know what? I don't want to go out there and get smoked by Par and Escrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking the opposite, and I said, come at us because we're more gamers.
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is like and subscribe to our channel. Then you're allowed to come in. We're talking free golf simulation, free whatever we're putting on the grill, and it's usually pretty bomb. Like, we haven't had a bad meal.
It's always awesome.
I did take the grill out the other day, and I forgot cheese, so we just had hamburgers. You know, people really melt down about not having cheese on burgers.
I mean, I'll just take the dog.
They were good burgers. I use good meat too. But getting into the market, I recent headlines, people are seeing like there's an uptick in like foreclosures, and it's not wrong. Like there is. I mean, if we look at where we were pre-pandemic, like we're starting to see the market kind of normalize. You know, yes, we're 26% increase in the amount of foreclosures than where we were last year, but we are still at historical lows. And you know what, a lot of that market is, you know, people that bought over the last couple of years, and we're seeing like the 7-8% market, they don't have a lot of the equity growth, even though like the market still, the average consumer now this is nationwide, equity positions around $300,000. That's way different than the market that we had back in 2008. People didn't have equity. So when you couldn't pay your mortgage or you couldn't fund your home, you had options to sell. Now, versus back in 2008, you didn't have those options. And that's where I think a lot of the challenges come in for the markets that we're in, like right now, most people have equity, but the foreclosure uptake is a lot of people that had the higher interest rates over the last couple of years and not having the equity position, and they're struggling in the financial category. That's where, they're struggling a little bit more. And that's where you're starting to see a little bit more of the, pre-foreclosure market starting to increase.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of factors. For me personally, 08, 09, my understanding of that is historical, like through research, and I was still in high school, to make you feel old, but I do remember The Big Short coming out. I remember my teachers
Great
being
movie.
very, very upset when all that went down because they lost a ton of equity, and it was so bad that the banks couldn't even foreclose on your primary home. They were foreclosing a lot of times if you own multiple homes on the other homes.
Sure.
Because they just basically let you write down however much you wanted to make,
Yeah.
or said you made, and then, but I will say this is short sale is kind of like in between a standard sale and foreclosure. Still going to affect your credit, not as long. I had 2 foreclosures my entire career. This month I have 3 short sales under contract.
Oh, wow. So let me go back a little bit for you. So when I got in the business, we were in the Big Short era. You know what I mean? Where like people were doing the stated income, stated assets you're talking about. You could just state your income, state your assets, and you can get a loan. I mean, and you could go pretty high loan to value. So a big reason that market crashed was when all these buyers went out and said, I can just state my income and assets and buy a beach house, buy a second home, buy a condo in Florida, whatever it may be. What is the house that you're going to let go first? The house that you're living in, or all these extra homes that you bought? And so we saw those extra homes going into foreclosure. We didn't have equity positions. We didn't have programs because the banks tightened up. Now we look at in the current market, you're talking about we have you're starting to see more short sales and foreclosures, but homeowners need to know their options. Okay, if you're starting to get tight on your bills, don't ignore letters, because being in default on a mortgage is 30 days late. So foreclosure starts after 30 days. Now, what we've been taught over the years is that if it's your primary residence, typically to like the foreclosure actually occurring on your home is generally going to be 12 months after your first 30-day notice. So like if you didn't pay your mortgage for 12 months, at that point, that's about the length of the process for the bank to actually legally go through the process of taking their home back. So what can be done in those 12 months? And that's where, if you're struggling on your mortgage or you're in the real estate industry, you're working with a client that's behind, what are some of the tips that you can be doing in the market now? And I always tell them is don't ignore the letters.
Yeah. Just like anything in life, you got to get in front of it.
Got to get in front of it.
You have to know your options, do everything.
Yeah.
Because this is truly going to affect your livelihood for years and years to come.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to rent a car.
But I think a lot of people, what happens is they shell up. We get behind in 30 days and they give up. And then giving up, naturally, they're just like, I'm going to ignore everything and try to work something out. And then it becomes too late in the process, and the next thing you know, the bank's knocking on your door and they're taking the house back. But I always say the step number 1 is they're going to start sending letters. Communicate with your bank. Know the numbers that you're behind on. You mentioned that there's other options outside of foreclosing on your home. You got loan modification.
Right.
You have, sell deed in lieu of foreclosure. You have short sale. You have the actual foreclosure process of just giving the house back. So know what your options and how they can affect you in the sale of your home. Most people in the market right now can avoid all this because they're probably in a position financially, equity wise, to be able to, sell their home and actually walk away. What happened back in the 2008 when it made it so easy to get money out of your home or use your home as ATM, a lot of people kept using it. I'm going to refinance my house and pay off $40,000 in credit card debt and then run that $40,000 of credit card debt back up and then reattach it to my home. Or
that's one of the listings. I have 2 short sale listings, 1 short sale buyer.
Yeah.
That is the exact example of one of them.
One of them, yeah, just used their home as an ATM. Because when we were back in 2000, kind of like the Big Short era, 2006, 2007, I was also doing loans. And I remember I had this old lady one time that was, she had $120,000 in credit card debt. Now, I was back in 2000, this had to be 2005 or 2006.
That's like 350,000
Yeah.
today's money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So normally when you go out to your house, you're like, all right, you have $120,000 in credit card debt. Like you're looking around the house, like you got flat screen TVs, cars, all this. I'm looking around the house. I'm like, this house isn't very lavish. There's not TVs and all this. I'm like, the question is, what did you spend all this money on? And she actually put her 2 grandchildren through college on credit cards. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, so like
better than a Nigerian prince though.
Yes. So we were like, all right, we're gonna refinance your house, saved her like $4,000 a month or something by pulling that in. But that was a make sense situation where it's like, all right, she's not gonna go out and run our credit cards. Like kids are already out of college.
Right.
Like, you can refinance. But there were people using their cars and their house and buying cars.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like a little pulling on the heartstrings story of a grandma.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't afford it, but I have all these credit cards.
I have all these credit card debts. We saved her so much money. But she didn't know her options.
Right.
She was just struggling. Like, I can't pay all these credit cards each month. Like, I don't know why they're so expensive. Like, I was like, you got $120,000 in debt, and it's like, that was the situation that, if she didn't know her options, she would have probably foreclosed on her house, not been able to afford the food on the table because all the money's going out to monthly bills.
Right.
So it's like you got to kind of know options in a foreclosure. Don't ignore the letters that are coming in. And there's buyers out there too. And I think this is the other side, that the misinformation in the market is that buyers start hearing about foreclosures. Now they want to know, like, I just want to buy a foreclosure. I want to find it because it's a deal in the market or it's a steal in the market.
Right.
Like, the markets, the saleability of a home is based on market trends. And still, now we talk about our market, maybe not nationwide market. We like Baltimore to DC market. We're still at a pretty low inventory to, buyer ratio. So you're still seeing pretty good activity out there. You're not going to see foreclosures being sold, 20-30% below market. That, like we saw back in maybe the 2009 through 2010 market.
Right. Yeah, it's all condition dependent, but also if it is a horrible condition, banks got hip to the grind in COVID era, and they've partnered with contractors, and they'll be like, hey, we don't want to lose this much money.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we'll split the profit with you. You go fix it, and then we'll split the profit with you. To a flipper or contractor that's doing 100 of them for that same bank a year, and they're going to really never hit the market as the foreclosure, but still be sold as a foreclosure, but it's still going to be bid up because it's in a great area.
Yeah, and I think it's where, like, if you're an investor that's looking for real estate, especially in the foreclosure market, it kind of starts when the foreclosure notice is served, because that's actually public information. You can find out online when somebody's being served. At that point, I think that's where the owner of the house is now getting to the point where, like, all right, this is a serious situation. I need to know my options.
Yeah, and as an investor, you almost got to go buy them out of it.
Buy them out of it.
So that you leave the bank no option to go then make the profit. You have to take the profit. But it's expensive to do that.
Yeah,
money won't even lend that sometimes.
Well, back when the foreclosure market, and and I don't know the timelines on short sales because it's not as prevalent in the market today as it was back then. But normally, to go under contract for short sale to actual closing, to get through the process, because they had whole departments that only handled short sales, you could be talking 8 to 12 months to get a short sale approval.
I have one that is already using the house as a credit card, already at month 7.
Month 7 on the under contract?
Under contract.
Oh, wow.
And they are telling us we might be able to get sold end of June, July.
Wow.
So that's going to be 8-9 months.
You're going to start seeing a lot of the scams coming out too. You got to be really careful of, like, when we were doing a lot of short sales back in the day, you had these short sale mediation companies, as they called it, and they would pay upfront fees to be able to get the short sale package and negotiate the short sale. A lot of times you would pay the fee and they would disappear. They weren't like real companies because it was like overnight you started seeing this like foreclosure and short sale. Kind of like right now we're starting to see a little bit more activity in the distressed market. You also have to be very cautious if you are. Talk to your bank, talk to your realtor, talk to professionals. Be cautious of things that sound too good to be true in this market.
They always are. They always are too good to be true.
Yeah, because remember, it's public information that your home is in default. That's kind of like it's public information when you buy a home. When you move in their home and your mailbox is full of DirecTV, Comcast, Verizon, anything that's associated, Wayfair, like all these companies start, throwing out all their marketing and discounts because you're a new homeowner, you're going to buy furniture, you're going to need internet, you're going to need cable. So same thing with a default notice in your mortgage. You just got to be really careful of scams because now it's been thrown out to the public like, hey, you're behind in your mortgage. Now the scamming companies are going to come back and try to, get you for anything that you do still have, and
oh yeah, and talk to the professionals before, like you call J.G. Wentworth.
Yeah,
I know they got a catchy jingle.
Yeah.
But before I finish that thought, like and subscribe. But also, you're going to get yourself into a bigger hole. How many times does pride get in the way of protecting yourself? You know what I mean? It's happened in my own personal family where if you just stopped and put the shovel down and stopped digging, we could have fixed this in 2 years as opposed to 12.
Yeah. And you got to look at and we break this down. So first thing is you're starting to fall behind. You're feeling stressed where you are financially. Okay. Step number 1 is contact your bank. Find out your numbers, what you owe, what to get at current.
They're going to lose money on this.
They'll lose the money.
They will help you.
Yeah.
They have a whole department that is there to help you because they don't want to lose money.
Don't want to lose money. And they want to get their money back.
Yeah. So they don't want to deal with the headache either of getting the contractor to fix it up.
Exactly. So your number, work up a market analysis, know your equity position, know what your house is worth.
Right.
Okay. You got to also look at what was the factor that caused the stress. Now, it may be, in most cases, if your income's the same, okay, and it just got really tight because you got sick or, you lost a job, you got to identify divorce is a big one. So, what took you off course? Are you back on course? Right. Because if you're back on course, maybe there are some modification options. But if you're off course, and you're not going to be able to get back on the course, then modification is really not an option because you lost in a divorce case, you're splitting, now it's only maybe one person that's responsible for the mortgage, or you lost your job. Now you don't have the income coming in. You haven't got a new job yet. So that wouldn't be a modification. Bless you. So we have to look at it saying, all right, you're off course. Are you back on course? What do you owe? How much is your house worth? And then you can start breaking down what your options are going to be from there. Did you buy too much house at the wrong time in the market? And now you're saying, I want to sell this house and get something that's a little bit more comfortable in.
Ding, ding, ding. That's my second one I'm listing.
Yeah.
And they bought, I would like to say against my recommendation.
Okay.
Waiving everything. No appraisal, no inspection, and a huge gap. The appraisal gap was pretty much waived. I mean, we're talking about a $250,000 house that they did a $50,000 appraisal gap on. In my opinion, that's pretty much waived.
Yeah,
it's not going to underappraise that.
Yeah, it's not going to. Yeah.
And the day that they moved in, they were $14,000.
Upside down.
The day they moved in.
Wow.
And then the condo community took a hit and raised everyone's condo fee up.
Oh, wow.
So
bad timing.
That took another hit.
Yeah.
And basically they just made a decision because of the scary market that we were in and bought with doing an impulse buy because they needed a house in 2021 when the bidding wars were happening and everything's crazy. So they paid too much, to your example, for the house that they lived in. And instead of losing $25,000 on the sale, they're saying, hey, I'm just going to cut ties with it and do a short sale.
So, and I don't want to go like, and look, that's a really good point. And like one of the things I always talk to, it's not just first time home buyers, any buyer. Always buy within your means. Like you're the one paying for your mortgage. This isn't a staple piece that you show off,
Yeah.
So like if you can't afford your monthly mortgage, then
exactly.
Don't buy the house, and grow in real estate, and a lot of first time home buyers, they come to me and like, I'm pre-approved to 500,000. Well, take 25 to 30% off of that price.
Absolutely.
And buy below that 20 or 35. Just buy 80% or 70% of what you're qualified for, because this is all about taking a house that you can really afford, your first house.
I think like the golden rule is like 3 times your yearly salary. That's what like Dave Ramsey says your first house should be.
Or just go 20% of your DTI.
My favorite is, but I probably am gonna get a raise soon.
Yeah, my income may be going up.
Yeah.
So buy within your means. Like the last thing you want to do is be frustrated paying your mortgage, or frustrated because you can't pay your mortgage.
Yeah. Or you can't take your kids to the movies, or you can't do fun things. And
I get this all the time. Anytime I post a video about this, I get all these comments that are like, whoa, there is no market that you can buy. The houses are, overpriced. Every house is overpriced. And I agree in a way. Like the prices are inflated. What's the alternative? You rent,
You give money away.
You give money away to your landlord. Somebody's making money in that situation. Might as well, when you own real estate, take the deductions, get the forced savings account, because every month you're paying back that balance. And over time, you're going to get the equity growth.
Agreed.
And that's going to that's going to win over renting any single day. But going back to it, being more affordable in the market may mean expanding out your neighborhoods, your areas in which you're looking in.
Well, I have to sacrifice something.
There has to be sacrifice.
There has to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Short of buying land, building it with an HGTV
I would not recommend
budget.
I won't get to,
You just went through it.
I could go a whole episode on why not to build a home.
You just did it, but you guys made no sacrifices other than the bank account.
Yeah.
You had to sacrifice the bank account. So there's even a sacrifice of that.
Yeah.
But you're never going to find the 10 out of 10. So you have to sacrifice the commute. You have to sacrifice the purchase price.
Sure.
You have to sacrifice the drive to the closest grocery store. You have to sacrifice something, because a 10 out of 10 doesn't exist unless you buy the land and build it.
I can tell you this. I mean, going through building, my house is still not a 10 out of 10 in my mind. You know what I mean? There's things I would have done different, things I want to, like now with the yard work, I'll be like, I want a smaller yard. I don't want to cut grass all weekend. Yeah. But going to the point, if you're starting to feel stressed, like foreclosure is not an end all. Everybody comes across. It's kind of like bad credit doesn't mean you're permanently bad credit. It's fixable. Yeah. There's options, but if you hide behind the stress of it, you're never going to get beyond it. And when we see all this market data going out, that we're seeing the housing market normalize, and not seeing foreclosures going up, we're not seeing a huge crash coming in, we're seeing it normalize. Well, there are going to be some good opportunities out there. But if you're in that situation, you're on the distress sale of it, you need to know that, get ahead of it.
Yeah, this is 2 guys telling you, guys, we're famous for just taking our problems, butting them up, and pushing them deep, deep down.
Yeah.
You cannot do that in the foreclosure world. As soon as you get that first 30-day late, you should be opening that conversation up. You should be finding out what your options are, because there's plenty of options. This happens, and a lot of times it's not even those people's fault.
Yeah,
it's just circumstances of life. So you got to know your options. You got to reach out to the professionals, or you're only going to make it worse for yourself and your family. And
the great thing that we have, if there is some help that you guys need, because this is all private, don't comment in the comments below of your situation. DM us directly, contact us directly. The great resources that we do have here at our office is that we got connections through mortgage companies, title companies, real estate companies, as far as the evaluations and options, real estate wise, finance wise,
Right.
titling wise. So like insurance, we have the in-house insurance. So every option that you have, we have it covered. So if you want your situation, you're starting to feel like, hey, things are getting stressful, get ahead of it. Okay, the problems aren't going to go away unless you do something, you change course. And that's what we're here to help you out with. So like I said, we like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep putting this content out.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that we want to do. We want to end on next.
We're going to change course on
Yeah, we got to change
this course. We got to change this course, man.
Wow, that was crazy, man. It was, dude.
600-yard par 5.
I know. When I saw that, I was like, gosh, we got to go back to Ryan picking the courses.
Yeah.
You got mad at me
I
picking
don't
16,
know.
17, and 18 all the time, and then you're
This
picking
one-
out 600.
I had my hands behind my back because we play 5-4-3 and there's only 1-5 on the front 9.
I'm not mad at a +2 though.
I'm not.
From the tips.
It's not hateful, especially when we didn't even make the.
Oh my
We did hit past the ladies' tees,
We did.
but we did not make the fairway on the par 5 600-yard hole. So there's another challenge and a free home evaluation, if you will. If you think you can add in one session 20 yards to either of our swing, we'll give you a full workout that usually takes about 2-3 hours of work.
Well, I'm gonna put 2 more challenges out. One, we need people to come in on Thursdays, grill out with us, eat. So, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. Come in here on Thursday, hit us up. We'd love to play 2v2 scramble format.
We can go
Any course that we want.
2v2v2.
That's challenge number 1. So we need players in here. Challenge number 2, if you can come in here and birdie that hole, okay, that's 600, or was it 594 to be exact?
Yeah.
Uphill. What's that, probably 30 yards uphill? 600
Yep.
yards. If you can birdie that, we're going to give you...
Let's do a minute and a half promo of whatever you want.
Yeah, we can promo
Like an
your
awesome
business.
video of your business or lunch.
I thought you were going to sing I'm a Little Teacup.
I'll sing whatever you guys want. If you birdie that, but
Yeah.
I would like to say I need to see your handicap first before I'm saying I'm a little teapot.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool.
Guys come in banging it 350 down the fairway, and I'm just saying,
I know. I was like, when you come in and you hear the guy just tee off, and you're like, "Geez!" It just hits the mat. The screen. You're like, neighbors are calling you, be like, "Who's teeing off next door?" They're like smacking the ball.
it's like the best sound. Yeah, it's like when you hear a home run live at the ballpark.
the
You know it's gone.
You don't just see it. It's just that's gone. All right.
Cool. Well, we'll get them next time, Paul.
Little part +2, little deflating, but you know what? We got it, bro.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win the PGA Championship?
I think it's gonna be not Scheffler.
I'm going Scheffler. So you're going Field, I'll go Scheffler, and we'll see.
All right.
Cool. We'll see you guys next week, and thanks for tuning in.
All right, bro.